what is your view of, I guess, Jesus? What do you do with the person of Jesus?
Yo, guys, we're back. Oh, dude. Oh, it smells so bad. I just farted. That smells terrible. It smells like a McChicken. All right, guys, what's up? We're back here. I have heard the cries of the people ever since preaching gospel to a psychic. My phone has been blowing up. George, where are the YouTube videos? George, when are you coming back with the YouTube videos? George, we need the YouTube videos. Well, I have heard the cries of the people. And today we are back with even crazier than preaching the gospel at Scientology, even crazier than preaching the gospel in the biggest mosque in the United States of America, even bigger than preaching the gospel to a psychic. We're preaching the gospel, you guessed it, at the mall. And that's what we're about to do right now. And I'm not going to lie, we just got kicked out. Bro, we literally just walked in for like 20 seconds. I think it might have been the devil. Could have been it could have been a straight demon kicking us out.
We're about to call Keys to Manifestation.
Connect your call.
Yo, well, one thing about Jesus, he don't need us, but we need him to be saved from our... Hi, how's it going today?
Doing all right. How about you?
Good, I'm doing great. I have a quick question. I run a small YouTube channel where we talk to people. Do you think would that be something you guys could be interested in?
Yeah, come on by.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
We got our first official confirmed appointment today. Confirmed appointment. We'll see you then. No Hennessy, no heresy. Jesus is the only one I see.
That makes me free.
Ooh! Dap him up.
It was a dark and stormy night. Okay, we're out here at some shop where they do like crystals and tarot card readings. Oh, this is like, I'm telling a scary story right now. We've had 3 epic fails today. Got kicked out of the mall, got kicked out of the casino. The other like 2 shops we called that were like this all said no. They didn't want to be interviewed. This is the only one that said yes. They close in 30 minutes. It's gonna be good. Get a cool cinematic shot of this. Okay, here we go. Hey, we called like...
Oddly, this space was a church before we were in here, like years ago.
Okay,
there used
yeah.
to be a
No way.
church running out of here.
Sure.
That's huge.
So, right.
A lot of different. And what's over there now? What business is that?
So that's in this is connected. So
Okay.
Weavers of the Web started in 2018 as
Oh,
a
okay.
church, and then I started Keys after COVID to provide a space for the church because the previous space we used to meet at sold right before COVID hit. Yeah.
What denomination is
Pagan. So we're run
Okay.
by Wiccans. Me and Mike Heaven are Wiccan trained, but we have a lot of folks of different traditions.
Say that one more time. Wiccan.
Wiccan.
Okay. What does that entail?
Which is
Okay.
your.
I guess we can actually start. I
your-
guess
your
we're already
typical-
talking. Yeah.
Yeah, Wiccan would be your stereotypical, the witches and the casting the circle and the calling the quarters and all of those things
Sure.
that people talk about. Stereotypical neo-pagan, that's Wiccan stuff. And that's what we're trained in. But we have Satanists, heathens, atheists. We've got one guy who's got his own magical tradition that he calls Omni. And so we try to be an umbrella for anybody that's not in your stereotypical Abrahamic faith.
Sure. So would you consider yourself a witch? Would that
Yes.
be? That'd be correct. Okay.
I'm a
Gotcha.
professional witch. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm actually going to school to become a pastor, actually.
Okay.
So I go to a school called Cedarville University. I don't know if you probably never heard of it, right? Yeah. Usually I tell people that school and they're like, I know exactly where that's at, or I have no idea where that's at. And
Right,
usually
depending on where
and
you're
usually
in the
I have
circles.
no idea where that's at.
I
So-
actually teach at Wilstonstein Theological Seminary, which is
Interesting.
entirely online,
Okay.
and it is a Wiccan-specific seminary.
Okay.
So we're there to train
Awesome.
Wiccan ministers.
Yeah. Okay. So how so you say that online? How many students go there? Or how many like? Yeah,
Usually
students?
between 75 and 100, I
Okay.
think, student body altogether.
Okay.
It varies.
Interesting. Okay, that's awesome. So I guess we can just back. Is the mic good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess we can just back up a little bit. how did you, obviously spiritual place, you're a spiritual person, safe to assume, right? You would say. So how did you arrive at your spirituality? What did that process look like? Did you grow up religious? Was it something you kind of picked
Yeah,
up? That opened a can of worms there? Yeah.
I don't look my age, but
Yeah.
I just turned 50 years old.
Oh, well, you look
and
phenomenal.
I'm from Texas.
Okay.
So I grew up in small town Texas
Sure.
in the middle of the satanic panic.
Oh, wow.
sure.
Yeah.
The satanic panic.
And I found witchcraft when I was 15 years old by seeing a book in somebody else's backpack. And I took it home and I read it and I couldn't put it down. And I was like, when you make a connection with the divine, whatever path that you're on, you can feel that connection in your
Sure.
heart. When you speak with your deity, it speaks in your heart and get that resonance. And growing up Presbyterian and Baptist small town Christian churches, I never felt that. And when I first encountered witchcraft, I did feel that connection. So that was my path to the divine. Unfortunately for that particular place and time.
Yeah.
It was really
Right.
kind of a weird way to
Right.
fall into it.
Yeah. Interesting. So what was your experience? And so did you grow up Presbyterian or Baptist?
Started out Baptist. It kind of depended on where
Okay.
we lived. It
Yeah.
was whatever church my parents wanted to
Right.
go to in that town. So it was Baptist in the Dallas area, and it was Presbyterian when we moved
Sure.
to the Austin area.
Sure.
Church was life. It was
Sure.
community. It was we even in a small town we had half a dozen different Christian churches,
Right.
and us kids would church hop.
Right, yeah,
Sundays
yeah,
or for
yeah.
youth groups, everybody's
Yeah,
like, whose
sure.
youth group is doing something this weekend?
Doing
We're going to
something
go
fun.
there,
Right.
So it was just what you did, and then
Right.
it was there to celebrate your births and your deaths and your sickness, and to bring you food when you need it, and all of that stuff.
Yeah. And I actually go to a Baptist seminary actually right now. So that's kind of funny correlation there.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you is so you say you grew up in the Baptist church hopping in a sense, right? Why do you think those experiences didn't stick versus witchcraft? What would you
It's
say
just
there?
I one of the features of our theology and Wicca is that we don't have the one true answer, and most Christian churches believe that they do. We believe that the divine presents itself to humanity with many different faces, in many different tongues, many different songs, and there's a different one for everybody. Just like not everybody is meant to play basketball, not everybody is meant to be a pianist, not everybody's meant to be Christian. Everybody's meant to connect with the divine through the same path. This is the one that works for me. This is the one that allows me to be a better person, that allows me to feel that connection and to feel that sense of awe at the world around me.
Yeah.
That's what counts.
Yeah. So would you say, do you believe in objective truth, like things like are objectively right, objectively wrong?
The universe doesn't even believe in objective truth. This table doesn't really exist. It's a cloud of probabilities.
Right. Sure. So is that a no or yes?
60-40?
Say 60-40. Sure. Right. Gotcha. So would you say, like, for example, something like murder? If I were to just go, my good friend Nathan here, done nothing wrong to me ever. Well, he has, but
When you start looking at things in black and white and in terms of absolutes, there's always a failure point. There is an exception to every rule, and that includes the laws of physics and the rules of the universe. There's exceptions to them, right? The rules that function on the macro level don't function at the microscopic level, and vice versa. So how do you define murder? I'll find an exception to your definition that you would conscience.
Right. So I guess my definition would be just unjust killing
What's
of another
just?
human.
What's unjust?
Well, I think God has determined what's just and unjust. Would probably be my answer to that. But where would you say you find justice, or what's just or unjust?
Depends on the situation, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I would say yes, because I do believe that things can be absolutely wrong. Like, for example, the circumstance where someone kills someone for no good reason. I think that's always wrong. I don't think there's a situation.
But again, we define no good reason. You said crazy. That's a reason.
It's not a good one, though.
It's a cause.
I don't think.
It's a cause.
Yeah, sure.
It's a cause. If you're not in control of your actions, That's a cause. Can you point out a society or a system that has successfully prevented bad things from happening?
No, I don't think so.
So then what's the point?
Well, the point is because I think, as Christians, I would say as me and him are Christians, Romans 12:9 says, to hate what is evil and cling to what is good, and so I think,
Great.
like as Christians, as a Christian, I have this duty. There's evil, there's injustice in the world, and I think it's my duty. God has given me this duty to do something about it. Do we have a
I
right
can
to?
see things as negative and as painful and hurtful. What is evil?
Well, do we have a right to do something where we think things are negative? Or should we?
To what point?
Provide good for where there's evil. For example, there's a problem.
To provide good where I can, I see as my duty in the world and my obligation, which is why I do what I do here, is to try and provide safe places for people who get rejected at others, to give strength to people who feel like they don't have any. You have options to people who feel like they don't have any.
So you said you had this duty, you feel like you have to do that.
That's what I'm called to do.
Right, yeah. So where do you think that duty or calling, I guess you say, where do you think that comes from?
That comes from my connection with the divine and my higher self and what I believe is the right way to act in the world.
So why do you feel that, I guess, your view on the divine or your relationship with the divine is more convincing than, I don't know, just any other
I don't think mine is
divine?
more convincing than anybody else's. But it works for me. And it works for the people who come to my church. It doesn't need to work for everybody.
Yeah. What is your view of, I guess, Jesus? What do you do with the person of Jesus?
I, think the idea is kind of cool. I think that the historicity is a little bit lacking. I think the original Gospels had a lot in common with the path that I follow. And then you got 2,000 years of politics. And some pretty warped minds, in my opinion, doing some pretty evil things.
Are you saying throughout church history, early
Yes.
church history? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do with the Gospels and the Bible? What do you believe about the Bible? Or
Almost any
Yeah.
Bible you pull off a shelf right now is a politicized document that bears very little relation, I think, to the original intention behind those writings. If that person existed as he was claimed to and said the things that were in the original writings and not the political translations, it just, nice guy. Hell of a fan club.
Sure. So
Seriously, nice
Yeah.
guy. We have an event that we do with the seminary and the mother church out in Washington every year that we call GodCon, because it's people coming and invoking different deities. So we pull the divine spirit into our body and allow it to speak through our mouth, kind of like some evangelicals might speak in tongues type of thing.
Yeah. I've never spoken in the tongue.
Yeah, I know. Not everybody does it, but some churches
Right.
do.
No, I know. I bet. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But we do it. It's actually a core part of our tradition's practice is invocation of deity, because we do that as a service to other people to give them a chance to speak with deity that way. And so different people will come and invoke different deities. Anything from a Norse deity might be a Thor and an Odin and a Freya showing up, or you might see Inanna or Bast or Zeus or all of these different. There's always at least one Jesus. Always. Sometimes we have multiple Jesuses showing up at a single GodCon. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Don't like his fan club.
Yeah. So how do you, I guess, determine that position you came to, that you said the Bible's been politicized and changed? How did you arrive at that? Was it just a problem with history? Was there a problem with just?
Or you say that you're in school. You must be aware of the history of the translations of the Bible and the motivations behind them.
Yeah.
And the different contradictory things that have been uncovered through research of original documents. You know, when people are going through and picking and choosing what they want to put in the official text based on how well it serves people in power, yeah, I have a lot of issues with any system that does that.
Are there any, like, I guess, gospels or passages in particular that you think that happened with?
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Yeah. What were some?
There's whole books that got left out, you know.
Yeah.
There's whole sentences that got intentionally mistranslated, right? It's not. That's a big disconnect for me. Is that why would you consider something that people have paid for, people have had motivations behind the translations that they're doing, and then they go back and try and say that this is actually the original. No, I have a real problem with that. I have a real problem with that.
Yeah.
I have a real problem with people who want to get in the way, right? So that's not my path.
Yeah, sure. What like events in history, or you know, what's a point that you could look to where you'd say, hey, at this point here, the Bible something wasn't right with the canonization of the Bible?
As soon as you try and set something in stone like that,
Yeah.
because life doesn't work that way. Beliefs don't work that way. You can't directly apply a practice in rules in completely different times, cultures, civilizations. Things evolve, things change.
So I would say, for me, I put a lot of faith, or I have a lot of confidence in the words of Jesus in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Because that's your path, and that works for you.
Yeah. It is my path that's been very beneficial for me. But I also do believe that objectively, that the Gospels are just reliable sources. A lot of people, would say, or a lot of scholars
Which
would
version?
say. Which version? Well, the original Greek manuscripts, I would say.
You read Greek, ancient Greek?
Yeah, I actually do. Koine Greek, actually.
that's rare.
Not that well, to be honest, but I did
They
probably.
weren't all written in
I
Greek.
did like a dictionary, but yeah. So the New Testament were written in Koine Greek, some in Aramaic, and then Hebrew for the Old Testament too. Yeah, taking Hebrew later. Not excited for that, but yeah, Koine Greek is what I kind of can do now. But yeah. So then the English translations too, I believe are accurate. As I just studied them, I can see how the translations were here, how this word is translated there. But I do put a lot of faith and trust in the Gospels and the words of Jesus, and just objectively looking at it. So the Gospel of John, many scholars would say that 30 or 40 years within the life of Jesus, which in like ancient texts is like gold. Like usually like all these other ancient figures that have been written about, it's like hundreds of years later. We have 30 or 40 years later, which would put us in the lifetime of the authors. Same thing for the Apostle Paul. The 1 Corinthians 15 creed, where it talks about the resurrected Christ and the eyewitness accounts. Was written in like 20 to 30 years, which again would put us in the lifetime of Paul. So I'm not seeing this as like a man like I feel like this works, even though I feel like it does. I feel like just objectively like the Gospels are reliable. So yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So I think from there you have to look at like, hey, like, man, Jesus's words are here. What do I want to do with that? And that was like me. If I was 13 years old, I read the gospel for the first time. And it was just objectively like, hey man, what do I want to do with this truth? Because if it is true, it's worth everything. And not just true for me, if it's like the truth. And the truth is, if these words are reliable of the Gospels, C.S. Lewis, a famous Christian apologist, I'm sure you've heard of him before. He said three things. So Jesus can either be a liar, a lord, or a lunatic. He's got to be one of those three things. Because once you read the Gospels, you read the claims of Jesus, you said, man, he's got to be one of those three things. And I think the evidence does point to that he is Lord. Yeah. Have you read the Gospels at all?
Grew up reading them.
Yeah. What do you do with the claims of Jesus?
I don't.
Yeah. Would you believe that, or you wouldn't believe that the Gospels are reliable? but right. Yeah, but when you have you read the Bible before, like the whole Bible?
Pretty sure I answered that question already.
Oh, sorry.
Multiple times, actually.
Yeah. All right, that's great. I think we got a lot there. Is that good?
I think we did get a lot. We had a lot of good conversation.
That good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know. But thank you so
Sweet.
much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.